Make sure I got all my articles pulled up. I'm like an hour late. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not late because I wouldn't have got here no sooner, no way. When I think about it. Put this one on the
Sure.
Wi-Fi. Yeah. Park my greetings, salutations. My apologies for being so astronomically late today. Um, Today is the study of Planck units and black body radiation with a couple of other things thrown in. Because I'm late, we're not going to go past 2:30. Gratitude. Yeah, we're not going to go past 2:30. So greetings and salutations. This is Salima Ellis once again. It rains, so my afro did what it does in the rain, but I'm still loving it. Um, Welcome to the reading, open study and readings of Black Body Radiation and Planck Energy. As always, all things that I present I ask that you please study for yourself. My Akashic records are not like anyone else's. I do Bible study, but I'm non-religious, so I do not do any religious Bible study. If anything, I tear down the religions. I am original teacher, indigenous teacher of indigenous teachings, where the indigenous teachings are not here to prepare you for the colonialized world. My teachings are only here to provide you for the knowledge to help you within the natural world, the organ world, as where we are between two realms, because either realm can be picked at this time. So those of you who are choosing the organic realm, you're doing it consciously. I don't want to hear no more unconscious. It's conscious. You're addicted. And then those of us who are choosing the organ realm, which is why you don't see me up here that often, because the organ realm needs a lot of my time and attention. So please, everyone, welcome to the Universal Mind School of Evolution, where we're going to be teaching a lot of things. And I'm going to go over a couple of other videos before we start Planck, because we're going to head over to Kalai. Because Kalai's video, Kalai Ma'ai, he's on YouTube. And Kalai's video are, he uses the goals 1 and 2 satellites, and he shows the breakdown of what the sun is doing to our realm, and how basically that dome that they have, that they keep talking about is gone. So the study of Planck units and black body radiation is to help you to understand almost how to use your body at this point like a volcano, because we have people that are passing out and things like that because they don't understand what their body really is and how it is related to the sun. So yeah, give me a minute. We're going to go over to him. Let me also put up my info. Okay. Who else am I putting up? Hmm? I also said you would need your dictionaries and your Bibles because you know how big I am on dictionary reading. For anybody interested, today I'm up at Parkland Branch Library, Detroit, Michigan, on Oakman and Linwood. For anybody who's interested in the live studio, I meant to really be here earlier, but the rain kind of slowed me down today. Oh, there we are. Okay. So let's jump right into it. Let me go to my subscriptions because this young brother is part of my subscriptions. Yes. This would be just talk if this brother wasn't doing this himself and a couple of others like him. Still looking. So the last time we were reading, I was reading Planck units, and then I started to delve off into black body radiation because the black body radiation is an explanation on how to use your body, on how your body can be utilized, especially under this sun that we're under now. Because I just walked up here and I'm telling you, I felt that all the way through my body. 3 days ago, the sun is separating us 3 days. Okay, this is collab. And this video is really powerful. I don't want to show the whole video, but it's going to go into why we're studying this now. A lot of us know that the sun has already changed. What the logic is with this one? Like, sure, you have a house and a roof now, but okay, so this is where I really want to start because this is what's really.
And if you can't biosynthesize the sun, if you can't convert that energy into chemical energy, then you are going to have energy on the backside of the planet. And that solar before everybody is talking about this in their community, which y'all don't know, is that it is affecting them a lot more than you think it is. Because I told you, my brothers and sisters, there is energy on the backside of the planet. And that solar radiation is we are scuba diving in solar radiation. And if you can't biosynthesize the sun, if you can't convert that energy into chemical energy, then you are going to have problems on the planet. So here we go right here. August the 23rd, 2024, the Magnetos pulse. This is monitoring Earth shield, supposedly magnetic field, the dome, that's protecting us from so-called solar radiation. Now, ultraviolet light, gamma radiation, whatever. Now, the problem that is going on is just not energy coming from the daytime side of the sun. This is the daytime side. So the sun is over here. So you see all that energy that's hitting the dome. Is on the dome. It's
I want to pause it here because I want to talk about when he talks about the different radiations. So he mentioned gamma radiation. Now, gamma radiation is poisonous. Okay. First of all, when you make things like aluminum, fluoride is the toxic waste of making aluminum and aluminum products, aluminum foil, to aluminum to build wood, whatever. It's toxic. Fluoride is the toxic waste. And they would rather use us as their trash cans to get rid of the fluoride, which is why they put it in the toothpaste and the water and stuff like that. So when he talks about us absorbing radiation, we have to be aware that gamma radiation is the toxic waste of utilizing nuclear radiation. Using nuclear power, which fuels this realm, creates gamma radiation. Therefore, gamma radiation is not a normal radiant effect. It is the ick in our organ realm. So when listen to Kalai as he's talking about the different radiations, gamma radiation is the toxic waste left behind from using nuclear fusion energy, which we use today across this realm. Using nuclear energy creates gamma radiation. So gamma radiation is toxic waste. If you watch the Hulk, that's why his change was so violent, because they were using a toxic chemical to push a change. Okay? They were using a toxic chemical to push a change. So if you don't want to see that type of change, don't use gamma radiation as one of your building blocks, because it's already a toxic waste of being discarded after another energy is being used, which is nuclear energy. So we're going to get back to it. I just wanted to put some clarification on that.
this is we are enveloped in solar radiation. So what's happening is that energy is impacting the dome, and the dome over here. So you see all that energy that's hitting the dome. It's on the dome. This is we are enveloped in solar radiation. So what's happening is that energy is impacting the dome, and the dome is peeling back. Here is the big deep problem: the backside. And not to mention, my people, I just want y'all to know something. As I stated before, and when he started showing the other videos with the darkness behind the light, yes, we are already in darkness, already in darkness. But I would tell you, the color of your sky is changing rapidly. Like it go to a dark purple, it go to a red. And even at nighttime, it goes that. But right now, if you look at this instrument that is monitoring, Earth and the sun and the solar radiation. If you look at it, look at the deep purple that's there. That's purple. I've been said this. I was like, this is purple. This is the reason why the airplanes are coming down. So I just wanted y'all to understand this. That's purple. And if you look at all of this energy that is coming from the nighttime side of the planet, this energy on the nighttime side is equally as strong, or if not stronger, than the energy that's coming from the daytime side of the planet. And back here, there is no dome. There is no dome. So people are looking around and saying, and this is I'm just being honest with you, the lazy-minded people are looking around and saying, Kalai, well, I don't see this happening. I don't see that. I don't see these people passing out. I don't see them combusting. I never said any of that. What I will tell you for sure, that they will not be able to walk up underneath that red sun. They will not be able to. And they are already having complications to the point that they are trying to cause wars. They're going to collapse the money. I don't even want to get into that, my people, because if you think Kamala Harris is going to be president, or even if she is president, if you think this that it's going to go hunky dory from there, I don't care if it's President Trump, or I don't care if it's Trump or Kamala Harris. I don't look at the wings on the bird. I look at the bird. It don't make a difference. What's going to take place next, or even during this bull hockey that's going on around the TV, drastic changes is going to occur on the planet. You're going to see more. People are going to start, people are starting to change. Remember one thing: we live in an electric universe. The body is electric. You know what I'm saying? They can't hold a charge without their nucleus. That's why I keep telling you, prokaryotic cells don't have a nucleus. They have a nucleus inside of their cells. Each one of their cells has a nucleus that holds their charge. That is having a problem. And when that is having a problem, it is causing death.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that. So this is what I mean when I say we need to learn about black body energy, because we have high CMEs, X flare spots coming in through to the realm, and there are a lot of us who won't come out. Yesterday it was 90 degrees, and I live in Detroit, and I'm telling you, it looked like a desert city. Like there was nobody out. So there's a problem with your body if you won't come out into the warmth of the sun. Yep, there's a problem. So we're going to go straight into black body radiation, because we're going to talk about the your abilities of your black body. We're going to hit all these side notes and everything else. So this is from Wikipedia. You can always find these topics on other websites, school pages, universities. It's your choice. I like Wikipedia. It's easy for me. I got an older computer, and I'm not interested in all that other stuff. So, black body radiation is the thermal electromagnetic radiation within or surrounding a body in thermodynamic equilibrium with its environment. Okay, so let's go to electromagnetic radiation and physics. Electromagnetic radiation consists of waves of electromagnetic field which propagate through space and carry momentum and electromagnetic energy. Okay, a body in thermodynamic equilibrium. Thermodynamic is an axiomatic concept of thermodynamics. It is an internal state of a single thermodynamic system, or a relation between several thermodynamic systems connected by more or less permeable or impermeable walls. In thermodynamic equilibrium, there are no microscopic flows of matter, nor of energy within a system or between systems. In a system that is its own state of internal thermodynamics equilibrium, not only is there an absence of microscopic change, but there is an absence of any tendency towards change on a microscopic scale. Emitted by a black body, it has a specific continuous spectrum of wavelengths, inversely related to intensity that depend only on the body's temperature, which is assumed for the sake of calculations and theory to be uniform and constant. So, as before, one of the reasons why I've been harping on the black body radiation and our body's temperature, and why we should not be seen by humans, is because they have programmed you to believe you are a certain temperature. You are not, okay? So let's get into this real quick. On this round, they want you to believe or understand that you are at optimal health at 98.9 degrees, right? Now, if you have an opportunity, go back and watch Kalai's video, especially when he's presenting those images of the satellite with the sun. Now, you have images of a satellite that is spewing out C flares, X flares, and M flares, whose temperatures often go into the thousands or even 100,000s or millions. But yet, those flares, they want you to believe with their colonial education that this flare at its lowest, which is already hitting you with hundreds of thousands of CME flares from the sun. This is M flares, millions, X flares, hundreds of millions. It's hitting our realm, and because of this dome, you're only at 98.9 degrees. That is impossible. So they want you at the program ideal belief that you are at 98.9 degrees when that's impossible under this type of radiative assault. And it's not an assault, not for us. This is what we're supposed to be under. But it feels like an assault if your colonial education has led you to believe you're only 98.9 degrees after receiving hundreds of million degrees of M flare radiation, X flare radiation, and C flare radiations constantly day by day. Okay? So really, you can't be at 98. You can only be this low. Anything lower than this, you would die. This thing is an oven. The way they describe the world, the earth, is an oven. So if you have C flares hitting your precious body that it can only go up to 98 degrees before you come into distress under their programming, how are you not dead after an M flare? How are you not dead after X flare? Because the dome is gone. And I want you to really go back, subscribe to that Baba, and like his videos and watch those videos where he's going in with the satellites. All this other content I don't care about. That content specifically covers black body radiation because that's who we are. So it's impossible for you to be at 98.9 degrees. You would be a cooked chicken. You wouldn't even have hair or anything on you. You would be dead. So we have to unravel. Remember, physics, how they're teaching this to us, is theoretical. And what they're going to do is slap you with a lot of theories. We want to come out of theory and come into the reality of what we're experiencing. Okay? So this is why we are going to continuously continue to read black body radiation. You cannot receive C flares, M flares, and X flares with a broken dome and still only be 98.9 degrees. That's impossible, especially since you are the original indigenous beings. You're closer to what? 1,000 degrees. How are you closer to 1,000 degrees? Because they have something called Pantone. They create the colors, right? In the universe. They create what they say is the colors of the realm. So at one point, there was no such color as brown. What they did was stretch out the red, which we are. That's how you can see us. We're on. That's why they use infrared to see the red spectrum of us. So there was no color. I'm not brown. I'm too dark to be brown. Okay. Colors are just a learning tool. It's almost like a pointer. You say that's brown so people can identify it faster. Not because it's actually brown. It's color, okay? So What they did under Pantone, their uh, their corporate entity that translates the colors for this realm, so that they can use them as teaching tools, said that we're going to push red into brown, and then they made red real bright. But we are red. If you take a look at yourself, if you've been tanning, I've been tanning, of course. It's summertime. It's really beautiful. You are not brown. None of us. We might have brown undertones, which comes from red. That's why red is an original color. Blue is considered an original. Red, blue, white, black, and I believe yellow are what you call the original, and everything else comes from them. So, like I said, you cannot be receiving C flares, M flares, and X flares from the sun and still only be 98.9 degrees and not look like a cooked chicken. So let's go into the black body radiation. So I want to make sure so people would understand. I want to greetings and salutations for everyone that's coming in to get the start. A perfectly insulated enclosure, which is in thermal equilibrium, internally contains black body radiation and will emit it through a hole made in its wall. Okay? Provided the hole is small enough to have a negligible effect upon the equilibrium. The thermal radiation spontaneously emitted by many ordinary objects can be approximated as a black body radiation. Of particular importance, although planets and stars, including the Earth and the Sun, are neither in thermal equilibrium with their surroundings nor perfect bodies. Now, how would imperfect humans tell you that the realm and the sun, the soul of the realm, is neither in thermal equilibrium surroundings nor perfect black bodies? Okay, so first of all, they just learned about the black sun. So I don't remember how old this article for, but you have a black sun, you have perfect black body radiation. The earth and the sun are in perfect thermal equilibrium with their surroundings. What it is that the earth and sun's perfect thermal equilibrium is harmful to humans. It's not harmful to melanated beings. So they are exactly where they're supposed to be. They are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Now, I want you to understand that not once did they mention the moon during this part. So I'm going to read it again. Of particular importance, although planets and stars, including the Earth and Sun, are neither in thermal equilibrium with their surroundings nor perfect black bodies. Black body radiation is still a good first approximation for the energy they emit. So, how can they not be perfect, but they have the ability to release that energy into the atmosphere? Okay, into the stratosphere. So let me go here because, like I said, they're gonna try to mess you up with the notes. Let's go to the stratosphere. Because you know I don't like playing word games with these people. Celsius, Fahrenheit, stratosphere. Let me get my stratosphere. Okay, stratosphere. Give me 1 second. I still ain't got my reading home. Remember, if you read with your dictionary, you can always tell when they try to double talk you within these articles. And you always have to go out and study your own. Like I said, what he does with the videos lets you know this is impossible for you to be 98.9. So if you're running at 1,000 degrees, what are you really doing? Stratosphere. Noun, Latin, stratum, sphere, sphere, an upper portion of the atmosphere which is above approximately 7 miles depending on latitude, season, and weather, in which temperature changes little with changing altitude, and clouds of water are rare. 2, very high or the highest region of graded scale. Okay, so the stratosphere is receiving a lot of radiation, C flare radiation, M flare radiations, and X flare radiations. So there is no lot of water up there. So if in the water is the dome, be aware that the water is the dome. That's why they always trying to make it rain and all this other stuff. So if you're getting hit with C flares, M flares, and X flares, and your body is only 98 degrees, how are you still alive? So this is the purpose of when we're reading the black body radiation, how you can understand that they're lying to you about your body being 98.9 degrees. As a melanated person, that's impossible. There's no water in the stratosphere. The water in the stratosphere at 98.9 degrees, the water in the stratosphere from, not probably from the C flares, but definitely from M flares and X flares alone will create humid dome. So if we have M flares and X flares going crazy over us and there's no water in the stratosphere, there's no water in the stratosphere, you just read it for yourself. Because if there was water in the stratosphere, the radiation from the M flares and X flares would create a humid oven on top of us, which is sometimes what you feel. And that's why I say you can't be 98 degrees because you would look like a piece of cooked chicken. Therefore, you're actually operating at 98.900 degrees. And the reason why you are black body radiation is because, pay attention to what I'm going to say now, okay? Your body is at 1,000 degrees because you're receiving C flares, M flares, and X flares from your sun with a stratosphere with no water in it. That means you're getting direct heat. Your body is pumping like a volcano. Your body, the hair comes out of your hair like what? After an active volcano. So now you have fresh, live, living hair on your head. You are black body radiation. You are 0 degrees. You are causality. Okay? So let's get back into it. You cannot have all of this hitting your round and you don't look like a cooked chicken. That's impossible. Okay? So let's go back because I'm not going to go fast over this. I want us to understand it. The term black body was introduced by Gustav Kirchhoff in 1860. Black body radiation is also called thermal radiation, cavity radiation, complete radiation, or temperature radiation. Now remember, these terms are there to program you. The Planck unit is theoretical math on the units because Planck units could be a whole melanated family or it could just be one melanated being. And the reason why they don't know how to measure you because they're not sure whether you're going to go along with the programming or not of the realm. So therefore, your possibility of the power that you put out into the realm is unsure. So black body radiation is also called thermal radiation, cavity radiation, complete radiation, temperature radiation. And this is why I always try to teach you about what? You are 0 degrees. You are causality. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm just reading. Y'all wasn't even on the screen. I apologize. Um, so they want you to believe you're 98.9 degrees under this type of natural assault. This is not a physical or harmful assault for melanated beings unless you're under the impression that you're running at 98.9 degrees. You are actually running at almost 1,000 or better degrees. How do you know this? Because the hair on your head is actively growing all the time because your active volcano, your black body radiation, is spewing it out. Okay? And this is what they call your baby hole, your soft patch up here. Yes. Pay attention to your body, okay? These are the things I began to realize because I'm sleeping outside, I'm sleeping in nature. I can hear the elements. I can cooperate with the elements better. So now I understand what's happening within the greatest temple ever built. Okay? So you can't be running at this temperature. This is why you get sick. Under the programming of 98.9 degrees, you are at optimal risk for any injections of viral infection, plus a mental infection. These are the infections you can occur under the programming of believing that you are on 98.9 degrees as black body radiation. As black body radiation, you cannot possibly be running on 98.9 degrees, receiving assaults of C flares, hundreds of thousands of degrees of heat, M flares, million degrees of heat, X flares, hundreds of millions from the soul, from your complement, the sun. Okay? If you go back to my Instagram or YouTube, I talked about how we were the only beings defined in the dictionaries as having a soul. And the only other beings with soul on the realm are the sun, are the celestial bodies. They are specifically named as having souls, as are we. So you are really running at almost 1,000 degrees. Okay? So under it hitting these. I already talked about that the stratosphere is not hitting is has no water in it. Because if there was water under the dome in the stratosphere, as they claim, we would be under a human assault that would really kill off more people than we would even recognize. Okay? So as black body radiation, that's human programming. 98.9 degrees as your melanated body temperature as human programming. You cannot be receiving this. and be 98. You're going to be the cooked chicken in the oven. Okay? You are running at more at 1,000 degrees, 989 degrees, because that is how you're walking around under the sun. You're being hit with all these flares every day. So, under the colonial programming of 98.9 degrees, you are primed for their infections, their experimental infections, viral infections, pus, mental infections, sexual. Okay, these are the infections that we can receive under the disbelief and the belief of understanding their laws and theoretical. Because, like I said, theoretical physics is human math. This is indigenous math. I'm a teacher of indigenous studies. We're here to unravel the lies so that you can properly use your body. Okay? And what they mean when they say your equilibrium is off. You ever feel like you received a chill through your body? Sometimes that may be your intuition, but at other times, it's because your equilibrium is off. There have been times in my life where I felt unbearably cold because the programming that I had for my black body radiation was off. I didn't know what was going on. Now, with me sleeping back outside, I have a better understanding of what my black body radiation should be, what my temperature should be, and how I avoid these infections, viral infections, pus infections, mental infections, and sexual infections. Because you are under the belief, like I said, that your melanated body is running at 98.9 degrees under C flare assaults from your sun, X flare assaults. C flare assaults are hundreds of thousands of degrees. M flare assaults from the sun are millions of degrees. X flares are hundreds of millions of degrees. It is impossible for you to be 98 degrees under the dome with no, straight sun and not look like a chicken, like a baked chicken. So, as melanated beings, not humans, if humans are listening, that's cool. But as melanated beings, your body is really running at 1,000 degrees, 989 degrees. Why? Because look how your body functions. Whenever a volcano erupts, it kills everything around it, right? But also you have new growth. When you are under the sun as a melanated being, your body is always erupting that radiation from the sun. And when you continue to receive your aura, your corona, okay, that's what that assault on us, 2023, 24. It was an assault on the corona, and they called us a coronavirus. They knew the sun was going to do this, and at some point we were going to understand that the programming they had been giving us at 98.9 degree body was what leaves us open to these infections that we've incurred: AIDS, um, autoimmune deficiency. Okay, we running around with AIDS, breast cancer, hair loss, alopecia, yeast infections, prostate cancer. And we do help these things by what the unnatural refined foods and adulterated foods we do put into our bodies. But at the same token, you're mentally programmed for destruction under this. See, my volcano is running perfectly, you see, and this is one of the reasons why I want permanent stuff. See, my volcano, now I have new growth. Genesis 1. Remember what I said? Let there. You don't have to put a seed on this. You don't have to do anything to it. As long as you realize that the sun is doing this job, your body's doing this job, and you can tell because this is, that corona is banging, baby. Okay? So let's go back to the reading. Let me see. See, let the land produce. After every volcano, there is new growth. They don't have to plant that food after volcanoes erupt. After volcanoes erupt, I don't have to add anything for this to grow. So my black body is always in rotation of its thermal velocity. My thermal velocity is working at optimum prime. Okay? So Genesis 1:11, let the land produce seed bearing. Okay? So when your body is in equal balance, you have perfect equilibrium in your black melanated body. So let's keep going with the reading because I just wanted to explain it. You cannot be at 98.9 degrees. Okay, yeah, we're going to go back to black body. Share. Theory. Let's go to the spectrum. Black body radiation has a characteristic continuous frequency spectrum that depends only on the body's temperature, called Planck's spectrum or Planck's law. The spectrum is peaked at a characteristic frequency that shifts to higher frequencies with increasing temperature. And at room temperature, most of the emissions is in the infrared region of the electromagnetic spectrum. So, like I said, because we are melanated beings, we are running at the wrong temperature because humans should not even be able to see us. And if a human can see you, we are programmed, which means we have been educated under colonialism to see this way, talk this way, be present in the world this way. So we're going to keep going. As the temperature increases past about 500 degrees Celsius, black bodies start to emit significant amounts of visible light. Viewed in the dark by the human eye, the first faint glow appears as a ghostly gray. The visible light is actually red. So, like I was saying before, there's a company on this realm that is responsible for creating all of the color that we see. And I believe the company is called Pantone. Let me see. We'll make sure I saved it. I don't see it. I thought I had bookmarked it, but I didn't. But you can always Google it. Let me go up here and see if I can Google it now. Pantone colors. They're responsible for putting colors out into the realm and saying this is the color, this is the new. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me keep going. Okay, Pantone. This is it. Let's go in here real quick because I want you to understand that colors are not specifically what you think they are. They're often used just like numbers and letters as a teaching tool. So you're going to see these colors up here. Is it share screen? This is the company that is in charge of saying these are the colors that you can see on the realm, basically. Trends, guides, tools, solution, color palettes, color of the year, color finder, Pantone color chart. Let's go to the Pantone color chart. It looks free. And like I said, we are not really black. We are a reddish copper. So I don't know if you all can see this, but look how dark some of that red is. What is this one? Pantone 168, 161. That's not brown. Brown didn't exist until they wanted to start categorizing us as non humans, and we should accept that because we are not humans. Our only problem is that we feel that we're not going to receive what humans receive, and really we shouldn't, but we don't understand that because of the education. So, this is the Pantone in the red hues, pinks, dark to dark browns coming out of the oranges. And I even recognize my skin complexion in some of these. So let's go back. So when we're dealing with black body radiation, we have to understand we're dealing with different spectrums, not just the different spectrums of radiation. Like I said, gamma radiation is waste, toxic waste from using nuclear energy. That's why when you would see the Hulk change, his hand change would be chaotic because gamma radiation is toxic waste from using nuclear energy. So we're not just, when we're talking about black body radiation, we're talking about color frequency, we're talking about temperature frequency, we're talking about your magnetic frequencies. So let's get back to it. Black body radiation has a characteristic continuous frequency spectrum that depends only on the body's temperature, called the Planck spectrum or Planck's law. The spectrum is peaked at a characteristic frequency that shifts to higher frequencies with increasing temperatures. And at room temperature, most of the emission is in the infrared region of the electromagnetic spectrum. As the temperature increases past about 500 degrees Celsius, black bodies start to emit significant amount of visible light. Viewed in the dark by the human eye, the first faint glow appears as a ghostly gray. The visible light is actually red, but low intensity light activates only the eye's gray level sensors. With rising temperature, the glow becomes visible, even when there is some background surrounding light, first as a dull red, then yellow, and eventually a dazzling bluish white. So we've seen our people, they can be high yellow in color. We call them red bone, dark red. So here they have a chart of Celsius and Fahrenheit. But unfortunately, they did not show kelvins, for which they originally showed the temperature of black bodies or Planck units. Now, at 550 degrees Celsius, we can start to be seen. At 1,222, at 1,022, we can be seen in Fahrenheit. So the US uses Fahrenheit. So at above 1,000 degrees, like I said, because they're going to tell you this, but you don't know that they're talking about you because they, these people, they like to call us out our names. We're not Planck units, okay? So you can be seen, if you look at this scale right here on your screen, some of us are literally this complexion, right? This one that they have for brown at Fahrenheit and at Celsius. So in America, it's Fahrenheit. Okay, so we are above 1,022 degrees because we can be seen by the naked human eye in America. In Europe, they can see us. Now, this is why they can see us in Europe. You have to realize the Moors are in Europe. They have a dark complexion like us, but they are not like us. Moors are not indigenous beings. They are still not indigenous to the realm. And most Moors are Africans, which is why we come up under the mistake that when Africans immigrate here or come here, that they're black. They're not, because their status under law is still white. And that's not just for political reasons, it's for scientific reasons. Everything they do has more than one purpose. Remember, this is a realm of duality. So in Europe, they use the Celsius. Okay. So in Europe, at 550 degrees, the Moors and the Europeans can see us at 550 degrees. Okay. Now this is the tricky part about being an indigenous melanated person. We have the ability to go 0 degrees. That's why they don't ever want your body temperature to drop. If you understand that you can go 0 degrees, not be seen, still be alive, still be safe, and not be affected by HARP, which is the cold weather. So I don't know if you're into cartoons, but I love my Last Airbender, the Avatar. One of his friends and his mentors was a man named King Boomy, and Boomy's realm had got invaded, and Boomy immediately surrendered. And the Avatar was upset, like, why didn't you get your people out of here? Like, you're the greatest, earthbender on. And Boomy was like, there are some things that you don't have to do. Because sure enough, Aang was the one who set Boomy's people free under, a scheme, but he still did it. So Boomy was teaching him that this realm teaches us to fight everything, fight pollution, fight bad politics, fight the law, fight bad police officers. But there's a neutral zone that we can be in, and it's safer than anywhere. But you cannot find it unless you understand 0 degrees. And 0 degrees is causality. It's when everything comes into being. It's when your mind is at its purest thought, when your mind is at its purest thought, that you can manifest things. Reverend Ike, that which I put forth from my mouth will not return to me empty. But before you ever speak it, you thought it. Okay? So let's get back to the reading because I don't want to take up too much time. I already started late, and my apologies once again for that. But yeah, of this new sun, y'all don't have no choice but to learn this. First as a dull red, then yellow, and eventually a dazzling bluish white. So don't we say some of some of our people so black they blue? So yes, we have because we can utilize the radiation from our sun and from these other beings like the nodes, the black sun, the other stars. We have the ability to change our physical tone. We can go from dark red all the way up to this almost looking peach, almost to looking like Caucasians. That is our ability. Some of our people really do. I have a good friend who has two black parents, and she lighted at me. They call us salt and pepper when we walk down the street. So the genesis determines who you are. What your genesis is going to do up under the sun reflects your education of do you know who and what you are. Okay, that's the difference. When the body appears white, it is emitting an substantial fraction of its energy as ultraviolet radiation. The sun, with an effective temperature of approximately 58,000 Kelvin. So see, under the Celsius and Fahrenheit, they're letting you know this is under the temperature we're at the right temperature to be seen for them. But really, they have us programmed that we're 98.9 degrees. But you cannot be running around under the sun unless you 58,000 Kelvin. So, as an approximate black body with an emission spectrum peaked in the central yellow green part of the visible spectrum, but with significant power in the ultraviolet as well. Let's keep going. Black body radiation provides insight into the thermodynamic equilibrium state of cavity radiation. So, this is all talking about what is going on in your cavities. Now, remember, when your body rises, you have been told that you get what? A cold. But I've told you before, it's not a cold because what they say when your temperature goes past 98 degrees, okay, and what they say you have a fever. The fever, remember, is the only time you purge mucus. Okay? Remember, the only time you purge mucus from your body is when they say you have a cold or a fever. You get a fever because you've been eating what? Milk. I love milk. I'm not dogging nobody out here cheese. I had a salad this morning with cheese. Okay? But this all turns to pus, not mucus. Mucus is natural because you have mucous membranes in your eyes, your nose, your throat. Mucus, you were born with it. That's natural. Pus is not. Pus is the breakdown of refined food like milk, cheese, sugar. I still eat sugar. I ain't put no, this is really a lesson, not me ranting. I'm saying this is what happens because we don't understand. We're really running at 1,000 degrees, and if we understood that, every time we get a temperature, your body is actually beginning to run at a optimal productivity. So now when they say, "Oh, I got a temperature, I'm sneezing, I'm coughing," you're spitting up what? Not mucus. You're spitting up pus. Your body has hit the ultimate state where it can no longer ingest milk, sugar, cheese, or other fine refined foods without what? Purging. So they're going to tell you you have a cold and to take this to suppress your cough, which is bringing up the pus phlegm, suppress your sneezes and your nose running to suppress. So now you're going to keep this sickness in you, this pus, because you're taking what? Cold medicine to suppress the symptoms that your body has kicked up past the 98.9 degree temperature because your body wants to release what? The poisons we voluntarily eat, which turn into pus. Pus is toxic waste of what we eat, of the organic world. Like I said, we are organ, we are causality. Milk, cheese, sugar, okay, is pus. Pus is the toxic waste of what we consume, okay? So when your body goes past this imaginary 98.9 degrees, your body is telling you, listen, 98.9 degrees is not optimal enough. We got to kick it up because we've been eating too much of this, and now we've got to get rid of it. When you have a cold, you are working at what? Your perfect black body equilibrium because your body is telling you it is time to purge this refined stuff so we can work at our optimal capacity under our sun. Okay, so remember, you have never been at 98.9 degrees receiving CME flares from the sun, C flares at 100,000 degrees, M flares at million degrees, and X flares at hundreds of million degrees. At 98 degrees under the dome, as they claim, we would all be cooked chickens. You at running at 1,000 degrees. And this is why I said you had to read the other paper that I presented a month ago, which is called Perpetual Harmonic Oscillator. So the perpetual harmonic oscillator is presented as a torus field. So your torus field is always running, bam, bam, bam. And your torus field is optimal. It works perfectly. We're the only ones hindering it with the false education and with the diet that we and with the houses. You have to come out the houses. I don't care where you live. If you get a tent, sleeping bag, sleep in your backyard, sleep in your outside in the you need air, you need the moisture from the air, from the trees, from the plants to keep this going. Okay? You need the air from the natural. You have to come out your house at least once or twice a year. Sleep in your yard in your tent. Sleep with your grandchildren, your children. Make it a camp night. Everybody can't make it out to the country. I understand that. So these are the alternatives we want to offer people so that you won't feel like we're just up here teaching and now we're putting you down because you don't have the answers. We do. This is the way that you can take your time and really get into learning how to learn your body. So, a black body that has a cold is running optimally. It is not a cold, it is the purge. You have had too much what? Refined milk, cheese, and sugar, and other refined foods. Shoot, I just had Manhattan chicken. Don't play with me. But I understand when I catch what they say is a cold, my body is starting to work at optimal temperature. And you can only purge those things when you get what? A thermal, when you have a thermal flare past the 98.9 degree, which they telling you. You don't start to purge these things as pus until you have what is called a fever. Okay? So we got a little ways to go. I can't go too much longer, and I hope I've given you a lot to think about. Please like, subscribe, and subscribe, and share if you like this information that we've shared on. And like I say, always bring your Bible because, like I said, even though I'm studying science, it all comes from the Bible. Always have your dictionary, 1973 or older if possible, Webster's, Collegiate Dictionary, or unabridged. So let's keep going. A normal baryonic matter emits electromagnetic radiation when it has a temperature above absolute zero. The radiation represents a conversion of a body's internal energy into electromagnetic energy and is therefore called thermal radiation. It is a spontaneous process of radiative distribution of entropy. Conversely, all normal matter absorbs electromagnetic radiation to some degree. An object that absorbs all radiation falling on it at all wavelengths is called a black body. Melanation, hey, hey. But the side effect is that we also catch the gamma radiation, which I'll already let you know if you do a little bit more research, is the toxic waste of using nuclear energy. But because our sun is banging in this new epoch, that gamma can't even touch us. Humans will be the only ones using gamma radiation to improve their bodies, not us. Remember that. Okay. It is called a black body. When a black body is at uniform temperature, its emission has a characteristic frequency distribution that depends on the temperature. Its emission is called black body radiation. The concept of the black body is an idealization, as perfect black bodies do not exist in nature. However, graphite and lamp black with emissivities greater than 0.95 are good approximations to black material. Experimentally, black body radiation may be established best as the ultimately stable, steady state equilibrium radiation in a cavity in a rigid body. So a rigid body is that I have bones. I can move and bend, but I can't move like a snake or a worm. So some things I can't do because I have bones. At a uniform temperature, that is entirely opaque and is only partly reflective. A closed box with walls of graphite at a constant temperature with a small hole on one side produces a good approximation to ideal black body radiation emanating from the opening. Now I'm going to stop there because I have a poem that I need to get into. Hmm, I think it's called Let's Go to the Movies. Now, this is what they did to us. So they put everyone in quarantine to create titans from ion graphenes. So whenever they're talking about graphite, it is the graphite they've created from our grafted melanin. You have to graft melanin to have graphite, okay? Melatonin to create. They put everyone in quarantine to create titans from ions, graphenes to mimic you and me, like blackface memes. So as my previous lives, I said that all of their sunscreen lotion is made from what? Melatonin. Where do you get melanin and melatonin from to make suntan lotion so you can survive under the sun? From the only beings who created naturally, melanated beings, okay? So let's keep going for a minute. I know I'm freaking some of you out with the science, but bear with me. We're going to keep going. We have like 10 minutes or so left. So, black body radiation has the unique, absolutely stable distribution of radiative intensity that can persist in thermodynamic equilibrium in a cavity. An equilibrium for each frequency, the intensity of radiation which is emitted and reflected from a body relative to other frequencies, that is the net amount of radiation leaving its surface called the spectral radiance. That's why we radiate wherever we go. We have what's called luster. They turn luster into a bad word as into a sexual context, but really it's our luster because we radiate. Okay? For a black body, a perfect absorber, there is no reflected radiation. And so the spectral radiance is entirely due to the emission. In addition, a black body is a diffuse emitter. Its emission is independent of direction. So when they talk about carbon capture, that what that means, I diffuse the radiation that comes not only into my body, through my body. Okay? So that I can stay at equilibrium to what's being put out under the sun, under C flares, M flares, and X flares. But I cannot have that equilibrium at no freaking 98.9 degrees. I have to be almost 1,000 degrees to do that, or else I would be a cooked chicken under these flares. So, like I said, check out that Brother's Made page. Like and subscribe to him. He is on when he's showing the proof of the sun and how it's hitting the dome. Yesterday it was 90 degrees. Let me see. And I barely put on anything and I slept in a tent. And I was not cold because now I'm learning how to merge with the elements of the realm so that I do no longer feel freezing cold and I will no longer feel like I'm baking. Because a lot of times, often when we have predisposed medical dispositions, like I've had already 2 heart attacks. I took horrible medications like Repressor, Coumadin, blood thinners, heart medication, PTU to control my thyroid. All kind of nonsense. So I'm off all of those things. I can see my room better and function. But I also had to come out of the house, and this is why I urge you to at least camp outside under the United Nations World Health Organization. By 2030, they are going to condemn all U.S. housing that was built before 1950s, I believe, because The gas is now considered the gas and the gas lines that come through the houses. Those are considered uh, what is that? Not just toxic. What is that word? Excuse me, I go through so much information. Anyway, the insulation that keeps the house warm is making us sick. The gas lines are old as dirt. DTE is not going to pay them a replacement unless they charge you an arm and a leg. And what else? The freon from the refrigerators is also considered toxic to us now. So by 2030, the World Health Organization wants to say that all houses built in America before 1950 or 1960 are now considered, no good. We can't live in them anymore. So people that are buying these houses in Detroit under the land bank, you are buying a house that's going to be considered condemned within the next decade. So just be aware. This is just some of the knowledge that I like to put out for my people. Let's keep reading. Black body radiation becomes a visible glow of light if the temperature of the object is high enough. So, black body radiation is always working. That is what the perpetual harmonic uh, oscillating paper is about. It's always working, but it becomes visible to humans at a certain temperature. The Draper point is the visible temperature at which all solids glow a dim red. All solids. And didn't I say we're at a solid? So at about 798 Kelvin. So be aware that when I said we are at, so in America, the programming is we are at 98.9 Fahrenheit. Okay, but under Planck units and under black radiation, we are always operating at 798 Kelvin. Why? Because our energy, our true energy, even though we eat stuff, comes from the sun. And we already discussed that the sun is putting out C flares, M flares, and X flares. That means my toroidal field has to constantly be letting it in and letting it out. Okay? So we are running at kelvins, and kelvins is hotter than Celsius and Fahrenheit, which is Americans. Fahrenheit is their measurement of temperature, and Celsius is European standard of measurements of temperatures there. But we under Planck energy are running at 798 Kelvin, which is hotter than both of them put together. Which is why I say no way you 98.9 degrees. Which is why they try to suppress your symptoms when you get a cold. Okay. So let's keep going. At 1000 Kelvin, a small opening in the wall of a large, uniformly heated opaque wall cavity, such as an oven, viewed from the outside, looks red at 6000 Kelvin. It looks white, no matter how the oven is constructed or of what material, as long as it is built so that almost all light entering is absorbed by its walls. It will contain a good approximation of black body radiation. The spectrum and therefore color of the light that comes out will be a function of the cavity temperature alone. A graph of the spectral radiation intensity plotted versus frequency or wavelength is called the black body curve. Different curves are obtained by varying temperatures. So, like I said, these people, humans, are trying to teach us to meditate. But like I said, our meditation is different. We should be, as Black Dot said, your vibration has to match the destination of where you want to be. You know where you want to be in life, but are you vibrating at the proper frequency that matches that destination that says, I belong here? This is where I want to be. So, under, no, of the inner and not standing, inner, these are our coordinates as melanated beings. You have magnitude. gratitude, longitude, altitude, latitude, solitude, and multitude. That's why I said be careful when they try to teach you that you are meditating, because under meditating you believe that you're by yourself. But really, when you're meditating, what you are doing is using the multitude of all the elements around you. Remember, your elements are alive. So, what if they don't have eyes and ears like you do? They are alive. So, when you're meditating and trying to get within the vibration of the destination where you want to be, you have to remember there is a multitude of energy around you, from the trees, from the water, from the fire that you don't even see, from the air, from the light from the sun, okay? The attitude, you have to have the right attitude, the aptitude to change your coordinations, okay? To change your coordinates, you have to have amplitude to amplitude it out. I just finished watching The Secret not long ago. So you're going to amplitude that out, and you have to have the fortitude to do it over and over again until you perfect it. So it is 2:29. I'm so glad that everyone got to come in today and get our black body radiation learning in. I know I said a lot of things that are going to blow some people's mind, but it is what it is. I'm not here to teach you a colonialism that will get us nowhere. If you want colonialism education that will help you thrive within the material world, they got plenty of schools out here. My name is Salima Ellis. I'm a teacher of indigenous and celestial studies of the celestial beings of this realm. If you liked, and I know you did, okay, if you liked, subscribe and share, please do. And as always, always, I know my knowledge is worth more than my weight in gold. Hit that cash app should you be so inclined for today's lessons. And as I said, we will be back in 2 weeks to not only review what we just studied, but we are going to go to the next level because we got to go further. This sun ain't playing with us. And for those of us that want to feel better and get better, come on in and get this knowledge. Like I said, like, subscribe, share. Salima Ellis YouTube. The name of my school, of course, is Universal Mind School of Evolution, where we will teach things beyond the normal. I am not here to agree with colonialism education. And I also had one that I'm going to go over because I'm a grandmother, and then I'm going to close out. So this is a recording I made because I saw a lot of videos on YouTube, and even I have family that's tripping about the village. Where's the village? We grew up with the village. How come they don't have a village? So because I don't want to say it again, and I know I was kind of raw with it, where's the village at? So for all you young women who have children now, who feel like the village mentality is gone, I say this to you again. You have taught your children no etiquette and no manners. And when they're out of line, you want people to wait till they get to you to correct them, and it's a talk. No real punishment, no real consequences, and they repeat the behavior. So their apologies are really empty and meaningless. So that's where the village is, bitches. You feel like your children don't have to learn etiquette, don't have to learn manners, because to you that was bogus. And now you have your children out here being disrespectful to the very people that's supposed to, you expect them to put their life on the line for these little bastards? I don't think so. And for you women that were, oh, my mother whooped me, and it was abuse, and that's why I won't whoop my child, and then you expect us to put up with a child talking to us crazy, looking at us crazy, treating our shit crazy, and then your only consequence or your child's consequence or punishment is that he gets a talking to. No devices taken away, no real etiquette being taught, none of that. Just y'all yelling at him. So this is me yelling at all. Ain't no village for bitches that believe etiquette and manners do not matter, and that your children can treat the people who take care of them any fucking way they choose to till you get there. Fuck you and your kids. That's where the fucking village is. Bitch, pick up your face, teach yourself and your children some etiquette, teach them some manners. Like, put the fucking phone down. When adults come in the room, children should see who coming into a room to acknowledge them. They can't even do that. Where's the etiquette? Sir, no, sir. Y'all think that shit is bogus? Guess what? That's why you have no fucking village. Because what you think is bogus bullshit is the only reason why y'all were even watched as children. So, like I said, that's where the village is. No etiquette, no manners, no reciprocity. Because y'all have no reciprocity for the grandmothers. Because you can't take them to your daddy. Your daddy's been gone. You can't take them to your daddy. So you're wearing your mother's thin, generation to generation. Where's the village? Fuck you. Where you and your kids' attitude is. That we're supposed to do this shit whether you're appreciated or not. That's just our job. And that's why we decentering men, and we're also decentering you little motherfuckers. Yes, I pushed you out, but because that's one of the reasons why my grandkids can't come over to my house, because I was black. I'll put my foot up your ass, and they mama don't like that. They mama don't want nobody checking them. They mama don't want me saying, you can't do this and this and this until this is done. Then they always want to call their mama, so they can get their way without learning etiquette and manners. Because that's why your child has a fucking cell phone, so that when they get in trouble and they have to follow the rules and regulations, they call you bitches. Mama, I gotta act right. I said, what do you do? Well, I'm on my way. That's what a fucking village is. For you stupid bitches on your way, because you don't want nobody checking your child to teach them manners and fucking etiquette. So that's what a fucking village is. When you bitches get your mind right, you might get part of the village. Because y'all gonna have to work together, because it ain't gonna be the grandmas. Because y'all have spit in our face and told us, these are my rules, and y'all did this to us, and we not gonna do that to our kids. Well, get the fuck on. Because you was half-ass acting right because somebody put their foot up your ass. Now, for y'all that feel like this was abuse, and you're not gonna teach your kids etiquette and that shit don't matter, you have no village. You have no village to help you. And where's the fathers? The same fathers who grew up in the village that they consistently abandon when they have children. It's time for the fathers, not the grandmothers, the grandfathers and the fathers become the village that the mothers and grandmothers have been for the last century. And until y'all get that, y'all gonna be stuck on stupid talking about where's the village at? It's with your mature state of mind that says, hey, we gotta find something else. The village is gone. Y'all made it clear how y'all feel about the black woman. Young black women are just as nasty to us as black men. Because you think we owe you something, and we don't, without the reciprocity. That's why men get left in the wind, because they don't know what reciprocity is. They know how to receive the love, but they don't know how to give it. Fuck you. Fuck you. So that's what the village is. Find your daddies. Find the baby daddies, because the mamas be tired. Okay, I love you back.
Okay, that was my PSA for the day for the mothers who were wondering where's the village at. Their kids are not being watched the way they were when they were younger. And like I tell all the young women that I come across with these young families that feel like nobody can correct your child, you do not want to teach your child etiquette and manners, there is no village for you. Because us old school women, we ain't having that. I will put my foot up your baby ass and yours. So that's why there's no babysitting like there used to be. That's why there's no village. A lot of you believe that, and you went no contact with your parents under the that you say you were abused and they didn't. So now you don't have that village. You can't keep coming up with this stuff. No contact, decentering men, blah blah blah. Hey, that work is real. Indigenous women, that's work. It's not a trend. The village is not a trend. Going no contact with your family is not a trend. Decentering men is not a trend from YouTube. It is something that is started for people who want to change their lives for the better. And if you are not on that vibrational frequency, most people ain't got nothing for you. So peace and love. I hope you enjoyed this. I didn't want to make this too long. I hope you all enjoyed the knowledge from the Planck energy and black body radiation study. Like I said, I'll try to get it for another 2 weeks and we'll go from there because this is the stuff they're not going to teach you about who you are as a melanated being and what your true abilities are. So, like I said, peace and love, gratitude for everybody that came in and enjoyed. I'm out.